Nowhere near my birthday, but she wrote Devora.
Debbie, pay attention. We're on recording now. Okay.
Well, they gotta hear my voice.
Welcome everyone.
Otherwise, nobody will know that it's the right
לנועם
way.
אדוני אלוהינו עלינו מעשה ידינו כלנו מעשה נקרנו לעילנו נשמת לרפואת יוסף דניאל בן שפרה. Okay. This week's parasha, Parashat Beshalach. We're about to read a beautiful parasha. Parashat Beshalach. Basically, when I look in the midrashim, there's a lot of midrashim. If you start reading the midrashim, you never end. So roughly, loosely, we'll say that this parasha is divided into 3 parts. First part is, of course, Am Yisrael leaving Egypt. The second part is the beautiful song, Az Asher Moshe. And the third part is where Am Yisrael is basically complaining and all the story. Mara, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the manna that we receive on a daily basis for 40 years.
I've got a design for a tie for this part.
Very good, very good. Okay,
Men
so
dancing at the sea. The
so
women
we are.
dancing at the sea for Miriam and the men dancing at the sea for Beshalach.
Okay, so we let's go step by step to really see when did it start and when Am Yisrael basically were out of the sea, the sea of reeds. So we're starting on Thursday. On Thursday, Yom Hamishi, that was the 15th of Nisan, Tedvav Nisan. Moshe Rabbeinu is receiving an order. What's the order? Please go to the Egyptians and ask them to give gold and silver. So all the Jews listen to Moshe Rabbeinu, and it's interesting that this order is mentioned in the Torah 4 times. In Shemot Yud Aleph, Pasuk Yud Bet and Yud Gimel. In Perek Yud Bet, Pasuk Lamed Hey and Lamed Vav. And in Perek Gimel, Pasuk Kaf Aleph and Pasuk Kaf Bet. So, it's okay. You don't have to write it. That's just, you have to know, 4 times, it's talking about this interesting, important order of Moshe Rabbeinu to tell Am Yisrael to go and ask for gold vessels and all this money. And correct. So what happened? So Am Yisrael is knocking on the door. Yeah, how can I help you? Opening the door. Look, I know I got an order to ask some gold and silver. And that was just a few minutes. Or he has this firstborn died lying on the floor, and now this guy, the Jews, we all blame the Jews. They are coming now asking for money. But there was a miracle. The pasuk says, "V'Hashem natan et chen ha'am b'nei Mitzrayim." There was grace. There was. We didn't start the parasha. We're just giving a short introduction to talk about the previous parasha. So it was special grace. Am Yisrael was. Suddenly there was beautiful chayla. The Egyptians were basically saying, "Why are you asking just for one? Ask for 2." But there was some hold that the Egyptians was not so quick. They were saying, "Look, we don't have anything." So the Jews thought, perhaps we can help you. How can we help you? Because we were there at Makat Choshech, and we were searching, and we know exactly where all your silver, all your vessels, all your diamonds are. So if you want, we can help you. No, there's no need. Take 2, take 3. Just leave Egypt. We don't want to see your face. We don't want to see you here. And this job was 6 hours. 6 hours it took them to collect all this money. And the Midrash teaches us that each one had 90 donkeys full of gold and silver, 18 grams of money, of silver and silver and diamonds, silver, coin, everything. All the 18 grams each one. Yeah. And it was just in 6 hours. That's what the Midrash says. So that night, we talk about 2,448 years since the creation of the world. At that time, Bechatzot Hayom, at midnight, Be'etzem Hayom Hazeh, Am Yisrael are leaving Egypt. Now, the Gemara in Parashat Daf Dalet has an interesting discussion. The redemption, when does it start? When you hear about the good news or when you actually leave Egypt? And why do we care? I mean, okay, we leave this. It doesn't matter when, but it does matter because based on this argument, the Gemara says, are we obligated to join Geulah Tefillah, the redemption to Tefillah? There's a machloket in the Gemara between Rabbi Shimon ben Levi and Rabbi Yochanan, I think. Rabbi Shimon ben Levi and Rabbi Yochanan, do we obligated to put Geulah together with Tefillah or not? We all agree that in the morning, that was the time of the Geulah. We have to leave Egypt. No question. That was the time where they left Egypt. But
You
the
would say
night,
Shemesh
the night, it's an argument. The night, some say no. When you hear the good news, that's not an indication. Only when you actually leave Egypt. Okay, so that was the argument. So let's start the first pasuk. The first pasuk of our parasha. ויהי בשלח פרעה את העם, ולא נחם אלוהים דרך ארץ פלישתים, כי קרוב הוא, כי אמר אלוהים, פן ינחם העם בראותה מלחמה, ושבו מצרימה. So it happened when Paro sent the people, that Paro sent those people, and he didn't want to take them through this place of Philistine. He told them, I want you to go through the desert. Why? What's the concern? The pasuk tells us the concern, the reason why. You were slaves for 210 years. Now you just leave Egypt. Now they want to face a war? No, they don't want to deal with a war. So let's take them through the desert. That's what the pasuk here says. Now, Vayhi, any place that it says Vayhi, Rishon Tzar. V'haya, Rishon Simcha. Whenever you say the pasuk Vayha, it indicates that it's joy, happiness, something good is happening, will happen. Vayhi, it represents sadness. Vayhi b'mei Achashverosh. Okay? ויהי בשלח פרעה, או והיה כי תבוא לארץ. מה זה והיה כי תבוא לארץ? אין והיה, אלא מתוך שמחה. אין והיה, אלא לשון שמחה, the Rashi says. והיה, it's joy. When you come to the land. Am Yisrael is leaving Egypt. Why is it so sad? So the Midrash says that Paro was sad, Am Yisrael was sad, and Moshe Rabbeinu was also sad. Why? They're leaving Egypt. So the answer is, the Midrash explains, Moshe Rabbeinu was sad because he knew that he's just going to take them through the desert. He's not going to take them to their promised land, to Eretz Canaan. So you know, okay, I'm taking out to the well, okay, it's a Geulah. We're leaving Egypt, but we're not getting to my the goal is to get to the promised land, Eretz Canaan. I'm not going to get that. So, but it's a bit of sadness over here.
Supposedly they didn't. I mean, the people didn't know at that point.
Now let's come to people. Let's come to people. One second, Debbie. What about the people? The people were also sad. Why? Paro was accompanying them while they were walking.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because Paro said, you know, I remember my grandfather when he was accompanying Abraham and Sarah, he got a sachar, he got reward for that. That 400 years. Because for that sake. So now let's do the same. I will accompany. So Am Yisrael was saying, Paro, just leave us, don't accompany, we don't want to see you. Paro said, no, I want to come with you. So Paro was there, and there is a concept in the halakha that we obligated whenever somebody is leaving your house, you have to accompany them at least 4 amot. That's the halakha. Don't just say a goodbye. Yeah, 4 amot. No. Don't just say a goodbye, but you have to accompany them. And there's a sign, if you accompany this person, he will come back. So here, see what's going on here. When Paro is accompanying the Am Yisrael, then that's a sign that they will go back. They don't want to go back to Egypt. That's why they were saying, why, B'shon Tzar. They were upset. And really, Paro got a sachar for that. What's the sachar? Pasuk that we know in Parashat Kitavo, the pasuk says, "Lo tetayim v'tzri." We're not allowed to neglect, or we're not allowed to embarrass the Egyptians. Why? Because you were on the land, but also because Paro was accompanying Am Yisrael when they lived. Now, pasuk continues.
The Egyptians certainly came back on Bnei Yisrael.
Of course, that's it. 1 second. So the pasuk says, 3 million people left. Besides, of course, men was 600,000. Besides the man, there were also altogether 3,000 people, and they all left Egypt. And Paro gave them permission. And so they didn't want to go through for the land of Philistine because Paro gave them permission. If it was against his will, they will not dream of going back, returning back to Egypt. But since Paro gave them permission, now they will go through Philistine, they will face a war. Why do we need this war? We should go back. But there is another reason why they didn't want to take them through this place of Philistine. The Midrash teaches us that there was a tribe, Ephraim, that they miscalculate the time, and they thought that it's a time for redemption, and they left Egypt, and they went through this place of Philistine. There were about approximately 300,000 people, that's what the Midrash says, and they killed them all. The Philistine killed all those people, and they put all those bones in front of in the fields. So they didn't want Am Yisrael just to leave Egypt and say, "Oh, look what happened to our brothers." No. Let's leave it. Let's leave.
There were no people left from Ephraim because the northern kingdom was called Ephraim. When
Good
the
question.
two kingdoms split, which I haven't gotten up to yet.
Doesn't address this question. Anyway, there were 300. So all those bones were lying in this field, and that's why he didn't want to go through Eretz Plishtim, but through the Mikvah. And that's what we say. That's what we say. לכתך אחריי במדבר בארץ לא זרועה. כה אמר השם, זכרתי לך חסד נורייך, אהבת כלולותייך. So where's the Ava? Am Israel didn't understand the reason. Why are you taking us all this roundabout through the desert? Why can't you take us through this place? So Am Israel didn't ask any questions. No questions. They went, whatever Hashem told them to do, whatever Moshe, the leader, on behalf, of course, of Kadosh Baruch Hu, told them to do, they did. So that's why Hashem said later on, I remember this kindness. I remember the fact that you didn't ask questions and you went through the desert. Then the pasuk says, "V'chamushim alu bnei Yisrael mimitzrayim." What is chamushim? There's a few explanations. And the first one that Rashi brings down is that they were carrying weapons. They were armed. Why? Because they knew that they need to face. They would need to fight Amalek, Sichon, Og, all these kings, and they need weapons. They need to fight them. That's why they were carrying all these weapons. V'chamushim alu bnei Yisrael. But there's another pirush. No, I don't want to refer to this one. That we already spoke about last week. That's that I know this pirush, but we mentioned this pirush last week. I want to say something else. Atzmot, okay, Atzmot Yosef, the bones of Yosef, that's a weapon. Because Vayarayam, Vayanos, it says the sea saw the sea saw the bones and it retracted. It went back. So that's more. The bones have a lot of weapons. So, but the question is, we know that together with Chavod, together with the bones of Yosef HaTzadik, also all the brothers also went up together with Yosef. It's not just Yosef's bones that went together that Moshe took care of it. So the question is, the question is here, why are we singling out this story? The fact that we took out the bones of Yosef, but all the bones were leaving Egypt. Why are we singling out this story of Yosef HaTzadik? So the answer is that a few answers. One of the answers is no, because the Egyptians were Chamushim again. I just want to say because Yaakov has the promise of saying, what did Yaakov say? Yaakov promised Yaakov that I will take care of you and I will take care of the brothers. I will take care of all of you. And at that time, Yosef was not in that time Yosef was in Egypt. So it was not included in this promise. So all the brothers, we understand how they can all come to leave Egypt. But the promise didn't apply to Yosef HaTzadik. That's why Yosef HaTzadik needs a special promise here to say that don't worry, even that you were not part of this this promise that Hashem promised, we'll take care of you, and we will take you out from Egypt. The pasuk says, and we learned that while Am Yisrael was engaged in searching for money or asking for money, that's a mitzvah. That's mitzvah. We mentioned it 4 times in the Torah. Paro, Moshe Rabbeinu was taking care of the bones of Yosef HaTzadik, and the pasuk says, "Chacham lev yikach mitzvot." While everyone is collecting money, Yosef HaTzadik, Moshe Rabbeinu was collecting Moshe Rabbeinu was collecting the mitzvot. Chacham lev yikach mitzvot. And that's why if a person is wise, he knows exactly what they collect. People collect money. After 120, nothing. What do you do with the money? But when you collect mitzvot, you come to class, another class, you fulfill another mitzvot, you pray. All this mitzvot, that's forever. That will remain for you forever. That's Chacham Lev, who is wise. He will investigate in the right thing, in Torah and mitzvot. That was exactly what Moshe Rabbeinu was doing. What do I care about money? When I care about mitzvot, Chacham Lev, Kach mitzvot. That's referring to Moshe Rabbeinu. And Agra is an interesting thing. On Avdalah, every Avdalah, we say, Zarenu, Bechaspenu, Yarbe Kachol. Right? We ask from Hashem, please increase our descendants and our money. Right? Every Friday, every Motzei Shabbat. Agra doesn't like it. Agra says we should, based on what we learn, Chacham Levi Kach Mitzvot, he changed the family. He says, Zchuyotenu, Zarenu Zchuyotenu, Yarbe Kachol. The merits and the children should be multiple like the sand. Right? Why? Based on Chacham Levi Kach Mitzvot, we want the real thing. And he goes on to explain, maybe the next step, maybe we'll just shortly mention the Gra. It says a beautiful thing. He says that somebody came up to him and told him, Rabbi, I want a blessing. I want to be wealthy. I want to be money. I want this. So he told him, ask from Hashem one thing, not to be rich. Not to be poor, but also not to be rich. What? It's a curse. Why are you telling me that? So he told him, look, you never know. There is an enormous enormous challenge and a trial. If a person was money, many times when a person gets to a certain platform, a certain position, when he has a lot of money, he doesn't know you anymore. It's a trial. It's a temptation, right? That's the word. Enormous temptation.
Like that old story about silver behind the window. You don't see the people anymore.
Correct. Right. So that's why we're saying don't be just ask from Hashem to get what you need to get. That's why the Gra changed it. It says "Chiyutenu v'zarenu bekachot." Kisafon, yeah, right. You should look forward. Kisafin, yeah. So have this in mind. We didn't change it, but have it in mind, right? Okay. Now there's a few reasons why. So the Rabbeinu Bachya gives another reason. Why didn't they want to go through this place of Plishtim? It says Rabbeinu Bachya says one of the good Rishonim to teach us about the Emunah. To teach us about the Emunah. If you believe in Hashem, you start with this trial now. We're going to go in the desert, so Hashem wants to check you to see if you will trust Him. You saw the 10 plagues. Let's see if it worked. Once you leave Egypt, then we'll see if it works. So the first test is don't go through the Philistine, go through the Midbar. And Am Yisrael really didn't ask any questions. So we started on the first day on Thursday, and Am Yisrael moved from Ramses to where? Nasu mi Ramses to Sukkot. What's the distance between Ramses and Sukkot? 12 kilometers. But it was not so difficult for them. Why? Because don't forget, at that moment that they left, they have 7 clouds of glory, right? That will protect them, that will give them whatever they need. So that wasn't the concern. So then Friday they went to Etam. Okay, so they left on Thursday, not taking children with them, of course. They were taking Matzotum Rohim, right? And Friday they went to a different place, Etam. And then Shabbat, what happened on Shabbat? The rest. Then Sunday, what happened on Sunday? Pizza, no. Sunday, 7 days of Pesach. Sunday.
You weren't open.
Pesach, you not open, exactly. So Sunday, that's a time to continue. But now, there was few Egyptians that were sent by Paro to search, to be some kind of spies, to see that they planning to come back. Because what did Paro say? I give you permission initially, of course. What did he say? I give you permission for 3 days. You can leave for free, go celebrate, but then you have to come back. Yeah, the contract says the rabbi has vacation for three days. No more than 3 days. That's a joke. Yeah. So he told him you can go only for 3 days. After 3 days, you have to go back. I hope. But that's it. So just for 3 days.
That they had Shabbat because it shows that Shabbat even overrides going out of Egypt.
Correct.
Just like with the Mishkan.
Correct. Overrides everything. So now that's time that they have to leave. That time they have to go back. So those people are telling him, hey, you can go back. So the Am Yisrael were telling to Paro, to those people, what do you mean? We said 3 days. We asked him for 3 days, but then he didn't want to release us. So then we get a plague, and then he begged us to leave. So after begging us to leave, then there's no conditions. Like finish 3 days. It's like example. I don't like to mention politics, but it's really connected. Like the Arabs. What do the Arabs claim? Let's go back to the borders of 67, 68, all this.
48.
But you declare war. Once you declare war, we are playing a different game. The game is a war. You can't say now, hey, let's go by the borders. If you decided to work with peace, we'll do everything for peace. Let's divide it. The United Nations will decide whatever they decide. Good. A petition, perfect. Once you decide to play a different game, a war, the war has different rules. The same thing here. Once you decide that you don't want us, once you didn't listen to us after we asked, and you willingly you didn't agree for 3 days, finish. The game is a different game. We're leaving.
There was a
So there's
that was around.
Debbie, let's just okay. So then those people were arguing. Those people were arguing was Am Yisrael. So Am Yisrael, what did Am Yisrael do? They killed them, part of them. So immediately they went back and reported to the Egyptians. Okay.
I just want to tell you there was a cartoon around that time.
Yeah.
With Moshe Dayan on one side,
Okay.
and a naked Arab just in his underwears, and they were playing poker, and all the money's in front of Moshe Dayan, and the Arab goes to him, of course you realize we weren't playing for keeps.
Right. Okay, let's continue. Now it says, so, but what surprisingly, the normal thing to do after 3 days is to continue walking. But what happened? What did the Kosh Baruch Hu tell Moshe Rabbeinu? Tell Am Yisrael to go back. To go back to where? Towards Egypt. What? To go back? It's committing a suicide. To go back to Egypt, we have to escape, not to go back. No, listen to me, go back. So Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Am Yisrael, tell him, we have to go back. They have to go back. And where did they go back? But not just they went back. They went back to the most dangerous location between Migdol and the sea. Migdol, that's the place where Amis, the kind of it's for the soldiers' camp where they can see everything, right? And they're standing in the middle of that area. So they told him to go back. And Amis didn't ask questions again. Second time, no questions. You ask him to go to the desert, go to the desert. Now to go back, you don't ask any questions. And what did they gain by doing those two things? Immediately, those people went to Paro and said, look, סגר עליהם המדבר, נבוכים הם בארץ, סגר עליהם המדבר. They're confused. They don't know what to do. They're going forwards. So that made Paro think, reconsider. Okay, now let's chase after Am Yisrael. But the second thing the Midrash says, that when they went to Baal Tzefon, that's where the Avodah Zarah is, they saw a lot of treasures, a lot of money, the Midrash says. So the two things, they confused Paro, and second thing they gained from going back is they saw a lot of treasures in this place. Okay, so that took place. Now we're getting to the Yom Revi'i. Yeah, Yom Revi'i. That's the 4th day, and all those. So all those.
Thursday or Wednesday?
No, Yom Revi'i. It's
Thursday, Friday. Saturday.
No. The 7 days. There's 7 days since they left Egypt until splitting the Red Sea. Okay, so we're talking on the Yom Revi'i. So all the magicians told the Paro, we have good news. There's a miracle. Paro said, miracle to me? I know that usually miracles are performed to the other side of the aisle, not to me. To Am Yisrael, not to me. What happened? No miracle. There's no miracle. Am Yisrael are coming back. Oh, that's good. The good news. Okay, so let's organize. Let's get organized and start chasing after them. And not only that, the Chida says, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai, 200 years ago, Sfaradi, that he said that Barach, if you see the numerical value of Barach, is 210. How many years Am Yisrael were working in 210? So Barach Ha'am, he saw that they're supposed to be in Egypt for 400 years. But then the Chida says that the Egyptians were telling Paro, no, they have to be Barach, they have to be Redu, 210 years, not more than 200 years. Barach, they take this, they just went 210, they just were serving us for 210 years, not 400 years. Okay, and we know that the reason why it's not a contradiction because they were working so hard that is basically considered as 400 years, as working very hard for 400 years. So they're working very, very hard 210 years, and that's equal to 400 years when you're not working hard. So then, 2 days, the Torah says 2 days after Chamishi and Shishi, they were chasing after them. That was basically Monday. That was Kaf Nisan. They were chasing after the Am Yisrael. And the Zohar says that they took with them, of course, the Torah says they took all those animals, horses, but also they took a lot of magicians because they wanted to kill Am Yisrael. So they took whatever they can and they follow Am Yisrael. And then the pasuk says, Bnei Yisrael yotzim biyad rama. What is Bnei Yisrael yotzim biyad rama? What is Bnei Yisrael yotzim biyad rama? Displaying might. They were going powerful with a lot of power. I mean, biyad rama, gava. They were very proud. But they left Egypt 2 days before, and it doesn't say Biyad Rama. Why only after Am Yisrael chasing after Am Yisrael, then Biyad Rama? What happened? What changed? What happened? So Rabbi Yaakov Charlap says a beautiful insight here. He says, many times we think, and you know what? Let's again, since Leo is here, we'll just again a bit above politics. Many times we think that only if the United Nations would support the Jewish people, or if we will not have any problems with the Arabs, we will success. We will be very successful. We will increase in everything. That's what we think. But Rabbi Charlap teaches a very important thing. He says many times a negative connection is very helpful, very healthy. Here it was very healthy. Once we have an enemy, we are united. We are together. We're all against one enemy. I don't want to mention, but another rabbi also said that that avoids from mixed marriage. That avoids from mixed marriage because with the in Eretz Israel. Because once we have one enemy, then this enemy will cause us to be together and cause us to increase and with prosperity and livelihood. Because we all have this enemy outside that's threatening us, so to speak. That's the same thing. Now, once we have these enemies that are chasing after us, now we should be proud. Now we should fight back. That's
United
Biad Ramah.
we stand, divided we fall.
Correct. Okay, so then, but the pasuk says that we're very, very concerned. Am Yisrael very concerned. We saw Am Yisrael chasing after them, very afraid, concerned. But why? What's the reason? Cool. Am Yisrael saw all the powerful miracles and emerities and everything. They have to be confident. They have to be sure that it was a miracle will happen here. Who knows how, but miracles will happen because Am Yisrael, they're really accustomed with all those miracles. So why were they so concerned? So the Maras brings two reasons. The first reason is because they saw Am Yisrael, they saw the Egyptians chasing after them. Ki ish echad belev echad. The pasuk says, "Bnei Mitzrayim nosea acharaim." Nosea. What is nosea? Singular. Why not nosim? Plural. Because they were all ki ish echad belev echad, united. Where do we have this? Where do we have the same concept with Am Yisrael? Vayichan Yisrael. Vayichan. Vayachanu. What is Vayichan? Ki ish echad belev echad. So that's the concern. We have another example that Yaakov was concerned from Esav. Why? Also, because he respects his parents, and also he was so 400 people together. They're also kind of united. So that's that concern. And they were divided to four parts. Am Yisrael were that time divided to four parts. What's the four parts? One group was saying, "Let's fight back." The second group was saying, "Let's go back. Let's fight back." The second group was saying, "Let's go back and be slaves in Egypt." Right? And the third one will say, "Let's make noise like pretend that we're going to fight back." And the last group said, "Let's jump to the sea." And each group, the pasuk is referring to them in his own way. The one that said to jump to the sea, the pasuk said, "Yitatzevu u'ri'u tishat Hashem." Just stand, don't do anything. You will see the salvation of Hashem. Let's go back. The second one that said, "Let's go back." What does the pasuk say? Lo tosifon lerodotam ad olam. And the one that says, "Let's make noise," va'atem techarishu. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. And the one that says that fight back, Hashem yilachem lachem. God will fight for you. So 4 groups. Each group there was a special pasuk, that special reference from the pasuk that will refer to them to don't do anything. Okay? Well, we don't do anything, but we have to do something, right? Okay. So Moshe Rabbeinu came to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I'm telling him, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, what do you want me to do? And compare to a shepherd standing with my flock, standing with my cattle on the rocks, and wherever I go, it's dangerous. I can't jump to the sea. I can't go back. Left and right, they're wild animals. What do you want me to do? So he started to pray. Hashem told him, just as for the merit of cutting the woods, for Yitzhak Avinu, I will also split the sea. I will also split the sea. Okay, so now we get into the final day, Shvi Shel Pesach. That's the Shvi Pesach. Okay, that's the last day. Okay, so if you remember, how many days were the plague of Choshech, darkness? Oh, 6
9.
days. 6 days. 6 days. Each plague was 7 days. This specific plague was 6 days. As we mentioned last week, the first 3 days they couldn't see anything. The last 3 days they couldn't move. Right now we need to have another day. So we know the story is there was a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire. So each one took turn during the day. The pillar of cloud took control, and at the night they have to see. So the pillar of fire. At that time, when the Egyptians were chasing after them, the pillar of cloud was staying there. Both of them have a role. Both of them had something to do. The pillar of cloud went behind the camp of the Am Yisrael, and this pillar was protecting Am Yisrael and stopping the Egyptians in many ways. First, this pillar of cloud made a lot of dark. There was like of darkness to the Egyptians. You couldn't see anything. And that's the last day where we put them together with the 7 days. So 6 and this day. And also we know this midrash that says that Am Yisrael was throwing stones, all these things, and they all go back, return back like a boomerang to the Egyptians. They will kill them. Okay, and so there's two things will happen, and also of course that's basically created a partition, separation between Am Yisrael and the Egyptians. Now, Baruch is telling to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Atitzak, don't cry, don't pray to me. Now it's time to take action, to do something. Get rid of your stick." What? But I did all my plagues with the stick. Now, why should I get rid of my stick? Yeah, you're right. But now, I don't want the Egyptians to think that there is some special thing in the stick. So, yeah, that's doing something. Don't just get rid of a stick. And just with your hand, lift your hand, and the sleeve will split. Of course, the sleeve will split, and Am Yisrael will go through this. But there was the argument. It was not so easy. The minister of the sea was arguing with Paro, with Moshe Rabbeinu, telling him, "I was created on Tuesday. You were created on Friday. How can you tell me to change the nature, to open myself? What right do you have?" So Moshe Rabbeinu showed him the bones of Yosef HaTzadik. He showed him, it didn't help. And he showed him the stick, the name of Hashem, until Hashem gave his right hand, so to speak, to Moshe Rabbeinu, and Moshe Rabbeinu was holding his Akash Baruch Hu with the right hand, then the sea split it. So that's what the I'm speaking this story. I can't cover all this stuff. But there's another claim here. Halalu of Avodah Zarah and Halalu of Avodah Zarah. They're both idol worshippers. Why do you think I have the right to open in front of the Jewish and kill the Jews, kill the Egyptians? So Moshe Rabbeinu was telling the sea there is a difference. Why? Because Am Yisrael was in a very terrible position. They were working hard and they were forced to work idol worship. What do you want them to do? So there's the difference between honest and deliberately working for Avodah Zarah. And Midrash teaches us at that moment, all the seas, all the rivers, in the entire world, they were all split. Somebody who was jumping, diving in the swimming pool, and in that moment, it's open, whoop, he broke his head, poor guy. Somebody drinking coffee, what's going on with the coffee? Tea, whoop, everything, the cola, everything is split to two. And Hashem revived Yaakov Avinu. Hashem called Yaakov Avinu and told him, I want you to see, I want you to stand there. Physically, Yaakov Avinu was there physically looking at all those miracles. Okay? Yeah. All the liquids, everything, all the liquids. Oh, we'll get to it.
So that's some water in here, it would split.
Split the two.
Okay.
Everything was split the two. All the liquids, everything. And then the pasuk says, "Lo nishar me'em ad echad." There was nobody that I'm skipping the story because we don't have time, but nobody remained except for one. Who was the one? Paro. But why? Paro, he's the evil one. Paro, he causes problems. Why do you leave him alive? What's the reason? So the first reason is because Paro, he's the one that caused Am Yisrael to have emunah, to believe in Hashem. The pasuk says, "Paro ikriv." What is Paro ikriv? Paro itkarev or karav. What is Paro ikriv? He closed the gap, so to speak. He bring Am Yisrael and Akash Baruch Hu together. Am Yisrael were believing in Hashem, and that's why the pasuk says Paro ikriv. And the second reason is because the goyim don't believe to our stories. We can give stories, but when a Gentile will come, Paro, and finally and ultimately will be a king. Where? In Nineveh, right? The story is in Nineveh with Yonah. Who was the king at that time when we read every Yom Kippur? Paro, the very same Paro. He was the king in Nineveh. And as soon as Yonah came and said that we will destroy this place, Paro said, hey, I have enough of experience. I don't want to deal with the Akash Baruch Hu. We should make tshuva. So who was the one that told all the stories? Paro. So that's why you want Paro to say it. There's a beautiful midrash. That's the thing. What time is it?
It can be the ancient
okay. So we'll just finish. Okay. 8:10. Okay, so we have 5 minutes just to finish with a beautiful midrash Shimoni that says that at the time that Am Yisrael went down to the Red Sea, and Gabriel was coming together with them. And Gabriel was saying, Gabriel Meir, Bikifam. And Gabriel was together with them. And while the river, the sea was surrounding them, like walls, he went to his right and said that the water should not follow Am Yisrael. Why? Because Am Yisrael eventually will receive the Torah in his right. The right is very important. So he told the water that on the right, don't do anything. And on the left, what's happened on the left? Where do we wear tefillin? Besides me? On the left. I'm left-handed. Okay? And in front of them, what in front of them? He said, Am Yisrael eventually will get circumcised. Brit Milah. And behind them, what? The knot of tefillin and tzitziot. So they have this protection from all sides. That's the beautiful midrash. And we want to finish with the story of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, I didn't think 50%, but it's okay. It's too late. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair also had the same phenomena, same story. That what happened? He was asked to save some captures, to say, don't shvuim, to go and release some prisoners. And he went to a river, and he asked this river, please split. And the story is that ask him, who are you? Who do you think you are? Why are you asking me? So I'm doing a mitzvah. I'm about to do a mitzvah. So yeah, maybe you do a mitzvah. I'm listening to my creator. My creator told me to be normal. Why are you asking me to split? So Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair probably was Iraqi. He told them, if you don't split, I'm gonna decree that this river will ever be dry. It will dry up. Don't deal with you. Immediately they heard this decree. Split it. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with the Iraqi. He split the sea, and we're all good. The question is, we're not so familiar with the story, or maybe it's just a story, not story. The second question is, we see this conversation going on and on. I just quote one midrash. There's many midrashim that talks about all this conversation, the argument between the minister of the sea and Moshe Rabbeinu. But here, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, that he was Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai's son-in-law, he said, a decree, open. Moshe Rabbeinu will try. Nachshon ben Adam was jumping inside. Nafesh. Nothing helped. Here, what's the difference? We'll finish with that. Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz says a beautiful thing. He says, when you have the power of Torah, you can do anything you want. See what the Midrash says. Midrash says they are about to receive the Torah. They're about to get Torah. Okay, but we need more support. But here, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was coming with the power of Torah. I learned Torah. With the name of Torah, I'm asking you to open the sea, open this river. Am Yisrael at that moment, that time, didn't have any Torah. Yeah? That's why Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, that's the power, and it's not a big story because of course Torah has the power. We all know the Torah has the power. The chidush is that even without the Torah, even without any of this powerful thing, still Moshe Rabbeinu was able by Hakadosh Baruch Hu was conversation, but Hakadosh Baruch Hu opened the sea without even this merit that Am Yisrael had. Hashem יזכנו אז ברוך שמו, ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן. מיכאל בן קשה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות לישראל, לפיכך חיבה להם תורה ומתוק נאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה ויהיה אדיר.